Look at this, guys. I got a brand new Sigma 200mm f2.0, and it's a sport lens. We saw sport on the side of it. We thought, I don't know, maybe we should shoot sports with it. So we're actually in Okotoks, just south of Calgary. We've had a very gracious invitation from the Okotoks Dawgs to come and shoot a baseball game. We're going to get sideline access. We're going to get a lot of cool stuff. And they're #1 in the league right now, so hopefully we'll see them win a big victory tonight. I'm Chris Niccolls. This is PetaPixel, sports with a sport lens. Can you imagine that? You may have noticed a lot of Christmas decorations around. You may have even noticed Santa Claus. I don't know, but this is actually a special day today. The Okotoks Dawgs, this is their Christmas in July day. So Merry Christmas, everybody. So it's fairly quiet right now, but I do want to point out, of course, this could be a baseball game. You're probably going to get some audio bleeding in there, so just bear with us on that. But this should be a really fun opportunity to test a lens designed exactly for this. You know, the light's pretty low right now. It's overcast. It's going to be getting a little bit darker. And that's where something like this f2 aperture is really going to shine on this lens. The other thing I want to point out here, too, is that this is for L mount as well as Sony E mount. I've got on the A7R5 here today to shoot with. And we might even get some rain. I hope not, but we might. So luckily, this whole package is pretty well weather sealed. So yes, this lens, I can hand hold it, but it does have a little bit of weight to it. 1,800 grams, almost a full knot. And to give context to that, the Sigma 70-200 2.8, which is what I would normally shoot something like this with, that's about 1,350 grams. So this is substantially heavier. Yes, we are getting double the light in there, but keep in mind that that Sigma 70-200 2.8 is actually on the much heavier side of 70-200 2.8. So there's a little bit of heft here to carry around. The front of the lens here, you can see we got a nice hood here, easy screw lock to get it on and off. And this also surrounds a 105mm filter thread diameter. I'm not using filters today, so if I take a baseball to the front of this element, I guess the lens is trashed. Otherwise, of course, you can see it is white like all sports lenses should be. Sigma again saying that keeps the thermals down, helps controlling sort of untoward expansion on hot sunny days. We don't have to worry about that today. But otherwise, like really professional looking lens, very nice to hold. I like the focus ring here, easy to find without taking my eye away from the viewfinder. I do get focus lock position buttons, customizable buttons all around here. We actually get a really nice aperture ring that I can lock into auto as well. And then here on this side, we have all our usual switches: autofocus, manual focus selector, focus limiter, image stabilization controls, because this lens is indeed image stabilized. And of course, I can also set my custom settings here. And I can even put the aperture into smooth functionality. So that's actually something you don't often see on a sports lens. When we come to the tripod collar, this is actually really nice. We do have a cut dovetail for Arca Swiss style tripod heads. I like that. Otherwise, though, it's not really removable. Okay, so of course, for sports and action, you want a fast focusing and fast shooting lens. So let's get some stuff out of the way here. First of all, yes, this is a Sigma lens on a Sony body, so Sony is going to hold the burst rates back on this. I can only get 15 frames per second burst rates with tracking autofocus. That's still really good. Let's also keep in mind the Sony A7R5 isn't going anywhere close to that mechanical shutter mode, and I would never use electronic shutter mode on this anyways with that slow reading sensor. So we're going to be okay today, but again, yes, that is always disappointing. What about focusing speed though? Well, this is using Sigma's high-speed linear actuator motors. They're very fast focusing. You can see here from near to far, snappy, quick. I really don't have any issues as far as focusing speed, so this lens is absolutely built and made for fast shooting like this. All right, so just in between innings here, let's have a talk about Bokeh. So Of course, this is a very shallow depth of field lens, being a 200mm with that f2 aperture. I can absolutely blow the background into just soft color, which I'm really liking. If you look at the specular highlights too, you'll see a bit of a cat's eye effect wide open. Very clean bokeh, no onion rings whatsoever, maybe like a slight soap bubble effect, but overall beautifully soft and smooth transitions. And then we stop the lens down here, you can see things stay nice and round, again very clean. So this lens gives us beautiful autofocus look and rendition, and I'm really like it for sports where I can really separate a subject from the background and get rid of a lot of distractions. So I don't know if you can tell, but we got a little bit of warm light here. The sun's breaking out just a bit in the clouds for a moment, so we were able to get some flare tests. And again, I'm always confident Sigma's going to do a great job. Their coatings are fantastic. I even took the hood off here just to really test the lens, see if there's any problems with it. Yeah. I'm still getting great contrast. I'm not really seeing any flare. I'm not even really seeing any ghosting with stop down, so no major problems at all. So, I mean, big thanks to the Okotoks Dawgs. They've given us really good access. We're allowed to go anywhere on the sideline. We're able to make models out of their players. So that's a really nice opportunity to get some shots here with the flash, but outdoors, where I am competing with a bit of sunlight, but I also want to get some shots as the light levels go down. So I brought the FJ400 just because I have more power here, and that just means that I can handle any situation. If I need to outcompete the sun, I can do it a bit. If I need the power to do more full body shots, or I need the flash farther away, it's gonna be able to project that light. So I really like it for that. And I still wanted to go through this Manny-Ortiz Beauty dish just to give that nice soft light. So I like having the extra power here. It's easy because I got a battery here, so we're not running any power cables or generators or any of that garbage. And then everything just goes through the FJ-X3 transmitter. It's completely wireless, so I really like this kit. Fit everything in a backpack, get out into the field and just shoot. Highly recommend it. If you want to check out this equipment as well for yourself, click the link in the description below. You can see all the products, or visit fjwestcott.com and you can peruse all the fantastic lighting gear. That's why they're PetaPixel's preferred lighting gear partner. Hey, you guys know that pesky longitudinal chromatic aberration, LoCA, it causes the color fringing in the out of focus areas in your foreground and background, really hard to get rid of in post. Well, it's not too much of an issue here actually. You can see on our test chart we have a slight amount, but it's very minor. So if I'm not worried about it, you don't need to be worried about it either. All right, let's have a discussion about sharpness, and I promise you this is going to be a quick talk because this lens is insanely sharp. I mean, first off, looking at the center of our test charts here, shooting at f2, tons of detail, tons of contrast. Like stopping down to f4, there's basically no difference. I mean, this thing is already fantastic at f2, but what about the corners? Well, that was also equally impressive. I mean, if you see here, shooting wide open at f2, it's very good, like just a touch of softness in extreme corners. By the time I get to f4, that's all gone. So this lens is fantastic shooting wide open. It's clearly optimized for that, but it's sharp from center to corner too, even at the widest apertures. All right, so I had a lot of fun playing with this lens. Again, big thanks to the Okotoks Dawgs for letting us have this access. Actually, a lens like this has been really ideal for tonight because as you can see, light's going down. I mean, I'm still shooting f2 pretty much the entire game. I'm trying to keep my shutter speed up around 2,000th of a second. I like to freeze the action, but it's keeping me at that sort of ISO 1600 to 3200 range, which I can live with. And that really is the strength of this lens. Not only that, but I'm loving what it's doing with the crowd in the background, just like nice and soft, still recognizable, but totally makes the subject stand out. So I think this has been really good. And I've liked the focal length for baseball where we can get fairly close, you can move around to get to different bases and still make 200mm work. Sometimes, of course, the convenience of a zoom would be nice, but for the most part, I haven't really been finding that to be a big hindrance. Not like it would be on a larger field like football. The other thing I would say about this here though is that like portraits, I'm really liking it for portraits, not only head and shoulders, but if you get enough distance, full body stuff where it's just very stark, very compressed, you know, really isolates the subject. I really like it. Beautiful bokeh, very sharp, very fast focusing. There's just really not that much to dislike about this lens. Like honestly, even the weight hasn't been bad, like hand holding it. I haven't felt like I've needed a monopod with this thing or anything. So what about the price? Surely a lens like this is going to be ridiculously expensive. I mean, if we look at the DSLR versions, which are kind of like discontinued now, you don't really find 200mm f2s very often anymore. They were upwards of $5,000. Like they were really exorbitant price tags. This actually isn't that bad. So now we get this 200mm f2 focal length for mirrorless again. I think Sigma's done a fantastic job with this. I mean, honestly, one of the only things I wish this did was come in mounts other than L mount or E mount, because I think a lot of other people are going to appreciate that. And of course, remember, one of the issues with Sony is not just the fact that it limits your burst rates with tracking, but also the fact that you don't really have any compatible teleconverters, and that would really unlock this. I mean, having a 1.4 or 2 times, having that fast aperture, but be able to extend your focal length and be able to sacrifice some of the extra light you're getting, that would be really nice to have. At least if you're shooting L mount, then you do have access to teleconverters, so that's a nice benefit. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave your comments below. Give us your feedback. We always appreciate that. Please join us on the PetaPixel podcast. It's on this exact same channel, or you can listen to it on all your favorite podcasting apps. Also, do consider a PetaPixel.com membership. That really helps us with a lot of extracurricular projects that we want to do beyond the camera reviews. So yeah, definitely check that out. You get discounts at the merch store, 5% off a lot of KEH gear. I mean, you get fantastic access to the website without ads, and you can also see the JPEGs and RAWs that we shoot from a lot of our reviews. You can see those for yourself. So consider that. And hey, if you're ever in Okotoks, consider coming and checking out the dogs. It's really fun. It's been really cool. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel.